Boker or Bekiim.
Just
Day 22. Yeah, we're talking about now 3 different blessings. We're going to speak about exactly what does this mean about the berachot of Birkot Torah. Okay, so our Chachamim instituted 3 different blessings for us to say for the mitzvah of Torah study, which is corresponding to 3 different categories of blessings. Okay, what does that mean? We're going to start. Blessing for fulfilling mitzvot. So this is called Birkat HaMitzvot. So Birkat HaMitzvot, just like we make a bracha on the mitzvah, that we say Asher G'Shalom Mitzvah V'Tzivanu, for example, right? So we have a mitzvah, a netilat lulav, right? Netilat yadayim, Birkat al mitzvot, shofar, Megillah, Birkat HaMitzvot. So therefore, al divrei Torah. That is the first type of blessing. Another type of blessing is for physical pleasures, meaning Birkat HaNe'anim. This is lo Birkat HaMitzvot, the Birkat HaNe'anim. Birkat HaNe'anim, you want to drink. Shakol niya bidvaro. Birkat HaNe'anim, you're benefiting, you're enjoying from something. So therefore, the same thing. As the Levush actually commented, we're making a bracha that we benefit, that we pleasure when we learn Torah, right? And that's how much we appreciate the Torah, we enjoy it. And therefore we come and we say, what does that mean? We want you to make it pleasurable, right? Yes. The third one is going to be now Birkat HaShevach, Birkot HaShevach. So remember, there are 3 types of blessings. Birkat HaMitzvot, which is a bracha on a mitzvah. Birkat HaNe'anim, which is a bracha that you're benefiting from something, so you're enjoying something. And then Birkot HaShevach, praising HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So he says over here, right, this is the blessing of Asher B'chabanu mikol hamim v'natalanu et Torato, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu chose us among all the nations, and he gave us a Torah. So with this, we're thanking HaKadosh Baruch Hu for his most precious possession, and therefore we come and we enjoy the fruits in this world, and in the world to come as well. So therefore, 3 different berachot, for 3 different types of berachot, right? 3 different types of blessings. So we have Keilu, the Birkat Torah comprises of Birkat HaNe'anim, right? It comprises of Birkat HaMitzvot, Asher G'Shalom Mitzvah V'Tzivanu al divrei Torah, Birkat HaMitzvot, right, which is going to be Varevna, and then, Birkat HaMitzvot was Asher G'Shalom Mitzvah al divrei Torah, Birkat HaNe'anim was Varevna, and then the Birkat HaShevach is Asher B'chabanu mikol hamim. Okay. Is there a blessing after studying Torah? Now, Birkat Torah is at the beginning. What about afterwards? Does there exist afterwards, right? Blessing for the Torah or not? Someone asked the Rashba, why don't we make a bracha when we finish learning Torah? So he replied, the mitzvah of Torah study is a mitzvah, and no blessing is ever recited for ending the fulfillment of your mitzvah. Meaning, if it's a mitzvah, you don't ever make a bracha after you do the mitzvah. Imagine right now, you do the shofar, and after the 101 times, you make a bracha. You never make a bracha after you do the mitzvah. Right? You did the lulav. You're going to make a bracha after you finish the lulav. So same thing. You learn Torah. You're not going to make a bracha afterwards. Although we do recite an additional blessing after, right, the Torah in the synagogue, meaning when you go up to the Torah, we do make a bracha. You went up to the Torah, aliyah la Torah. What do? Shenatalanu Torah Torah Tamet. Right, this is because the public Torah reading is an institution by Moshe Rabbeinu and enhanced by Israel Sofer. So we make a bracha before and after doing a rabbinical institution, such as Hallel, right, and Megillah. You do Hallel, right? The Hallel is rabbinical, it's not in the Torah, and therefore, since Hallel is only rabbinical, we make a bracha at the beginning of Hallel, right? We make it al Likro Hallel or right Ligmor Hallel. And then we make a bracha at the end. And the same we make Megillah. We make the bracha, right, on the Mikra Megillah. And then afterwards, Ravet Rivenu, or Ha'ela Ravet Rivenu, we make a bracha afterwards as well. So therefore, that's when we do it. So the Bet Yosef offered another explanation, not like the Rashba. And he says like this, even if we normally would say a bracha after fulfilling other mitzvot, it would be improper to recite a blessing after Torah study because it's never ending. It's never ending. How are you ever going to make a bracha on something that never ends? Well, you finished? Now you finished, now you're going to make a bracha. So he says, and therefore there's no opportunity to say the bracha for clearing the mitzvah. Even if we must interrupt our studies to engage in other necessary pursuits, it's only an interruption, but it's not the end of the mitzvah. So therefore that's why it just doesn't help. So it doesn't exist such a concept. Okay? Fine. Hilchot Birkat Torah. Which one? So, Siman Mem Zayin, starting the new Siman. Okay? Hilchot Birkat Torah, Halacha Aleph, Lemala, right? Halacha on the top. We're talking about now the being careful in Birkot Torah. So it says here like this: we must take great care to recite the Beracha over the mitzvah of the Torah study properly. We should recite them with great joy. So mamash, we have to do it mamash b'simcha. Yeah, our sages taught the Gemara Nedarim that the nation of Yehuda was conquered and exiled, although the people were devoted to the Torah study. Since they did not bother to say the Beracha over the mitzvah, they did not view the Torah study as sacred activity, but they studied it diligently as if they would study any other object, meaning that they were learned. So therefore, instead of learning science, they're going to learn Torah. Not that they enjoyed the Torah. Okay? We therefore ought to take great care to recite these blessings and thank God for choosing us from amongst all the other nations and for giving us His most precious, the possession, which is the Torah. We must realize that HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes great pleasure in having the Torah and is excited new with every single day. And yet He shares it with us. This being the case, we ought to feel great joy and pride in being able to recite the blessings over the mitzvah of Torah study. We should train ourselves to enjoy Torah study more than all the pleasures in the world. If we will do so, then we'll achieve the great goal of studying Torah totally for its own sake. Meaning, if be'emet, then we're going to learn it and everything. So therefore, it's going to actually do a b'simcha. So then that's showing that we're doing it lishma. Right? Because when we come and we're showing it, that's how you see it's lishma. It's not a burden. You understand? How do you know that something's a burden? When you see that something's a burden, you realize how people are. Right? For example, you ever see a child towards the end of class? He's already, and every single 2 seconds, he's looking at the clock. Why is he looking at the clock? He wants to run out. So therefore, it becomes a burden. Right? So he's trying to teach us that when we're doing something of learning Torah, it shouldn't be a burden. Right? The Torah should not, right? Why are you not allowed to run out of a Bet Knesset? Huh? You're not allowed to run out of a Bet Knesset. Yeah. Right? Why? You're showing it's a burden. Right? And that's why it's very, very important. You have to stay until the end, and then you walk out slowly. Why? If you're going to come, you're going to run out. It shows it's a burden. Right? You're going to be waiting, looking at the, looking at the clock. Right? Looking at the clock or whatever it is. You understand? It means that you're looking at it as a burden. So all these things are showing that it's not that you're enjoying it. So learning Torah has to be something that you're enjoying, not that you're something, right? And you see it, right? Imagine right now you're coming and you're looking and you're saying a Dvar Torah and the guy's like this every 2 seconds. So is he enjoying? He's not enjoying Torah. He wants to get out of there, right? He wants to. So therefore, it's so the same thing. To do with the limud of the Torah, a person has to understand that at the end of the day, if the Torah is chashuva be'enav, he's going to do besimcha. He's going to enjoy. He's going to, he's going to benefit. He's going to, and the children see it, right? Now, but a person has to understand though that the children also see what the person's doing, right? Because, for example, if right now a person is going to come and he's going to be learning, right, and he's not going to be listening to, let's say, the rabbi's speech, but he's learning, yeah. But then what happens? Then the children see that Torah is not important. Why? Because but he's learning Torah. No, but that's not true. Because if he was actually showing the importance of the Torah, he would listen to every single word of the Torah, right? And then what happens is the children, they learn from that. Because the children come and they see, listen, if my papa never actually looked at listened to it, why should I listen to it? So, okay, so my papa was reading a book. He likes reading, Art Scroll, whatever it is. And I like reading comics. You understand? So very, very important, the entire concept of Muslim, right? Of what we're talking about. Okay. Now, what about to have sons who are Torah scholars? So our Chachamim come and they say that if someone is not careful to say the blessings properly, his sons will be prevented from becoming Torah scholars. That means if a person does not say Birkat Torah b'kavanah, so then he won't have children that are going to become Talmidei Chachamim. When someone says the Birkat Torah properly, it is indicative that he really studies Torah totally for its own sake. You're doing it lishma. Lishma means for its own sake and not for anything else. Okay? Then he's going to be rewarded with seeing his sons and grandsons as prominent Torah scholars. And this is going to become the pasuk of Lo yamushu mipicha umipi zaracha, right? Umipi zera zaracha, which means that their words will not slip away from the mouth or the mouth of the children and the children's children, what we say in the Uva Letzion. And that's the reason why we actually pray in the Birkat Torah. They should be learned. Why? Because at the end of the day, when we're actually praying that, we want that our children should be people that are learning Torah. And that's what we want. We want the children to be learning Torah. And then he says, look at the beginning of the Siman, obviously. And then he says it's imperative that one understand the meaning of the words, right, in the Beracha, and that one recite it slowly and deliberately. Okay? so that when one does not omit any word or syllable, right? He comes and he says, also one must recite it with enthusiasm, right? Concentrating on the idea that this Torah is the basis of our lives and the success in this world and also in the world to come. Now here, if you look in 59, it just says, this is taken from the Shulchan Aruch Harav. It sources the Levush that says that one must take great care with the blessings to demonstrate one's esteem for the Torah and to declare that he enjoys it, as if one was living the bracha on any other physical pleasure. If someone fails to do this, he might not have the privilege of seeing his son become a Tamid Chacham, for this punishment fits the sin. It's midah keneged midah. If someone does not recite this blessing, he demonstrates that he does not study Torah for its own sake, and he does not appreciate it. To him, it's not more than an academic exercise, and therefore it's not worthy of his descendants to study, right, for its own sake. So again, the same thing, showing that for your children, they might, okay, fine, so it's a science. The last halacha, these blessings may be recited while one is sitting or standing, right? As we mentioned above in Siman 46, halacha 10. So he says here, some poskim in number 60, some poskim rule that one must stand up while saying the bracha, Birkat Torah, right? Since the Rabbi Turim states that while reciting the blessing, you should imagine ourselves standing in front of Har Sinai. Meaning, by Har Sinai, we were all standing, right? So therefore, Birkat Torah, we should say it's standing, right? And that's why, by the way, the same reason that there's some Ashkenazim that they have a minhag based upon the Maharam Murutubu, that they actually stand up for Kriyat Torah. I don't know if you ever saw that. There's many Ashkenazim that they'll stand up for Kriyat Torah. Why do they stand up for Kriyat Torah? Because when they're reading the Torah, it's like they're receiving it from Har Sinai. So for they stand up. Our minhag is based upon the Arizal HaKadosh, so we never had the minhag of standing up, and therefore we don't stand up. But that was their minhag. So to strengthen this imaging, right, we should stand up and tremble while we're saying the bracha, see the Piskei Teshuvot from a halachic standpoint. However, one may, meaning, mitzad halacha, you could stay sitting. But there's the musar aspect, and that's what he's trying to speak about, right, which is going to be the other part as well. Have a wonderful day.